Hey everyone, welcome to Sequence of Instructions. Thanks for joining me. I'm here on LeetCode.com. I picked an easy problem today, remove duplicates from a sorted array. I don't know why it has so many downvotes. I read the problem description already. It seems pretty straightforward. So let's get into it. Given a sorted array, remove the duplicates in place such that each element appears only once and return the new length. So we're not returning an array without duplicates. We're returning just the length of the array. The caveat here is do not allocate extra space for another array. You must do this in place with constant memory. That basically means you can't push your uniques into a new array and then count that length. You need to, sorry if you heard that horn outside, you need to, without creating a new array, do it all on this one. Okay, so here's the example. You get an array with 1, 1, 2 as the elements. Your function should return, it says length equals 2. It probably just means return the value 2, being the number of elements in your unique array, with the first two elements of nums being 1 and 2 respectively. It doesn't matter what you leave beyond the new length. I don't know what this last line means. It doesn't matter what you leave beyond the new length, but the rest seems pretty clear. So basically counting the number of unique elements. Gosh, excuse me. So let's get into it. We definitely need to iterate through the array, and I like using for loops, so I'll make one right now. Var I equals 0, start at the first element. We'll go until we hit every element, and each time we'll increment by 1. While I was reading this, I was trying to think, so because it's a sorted array, and we're looking for duplicates, we know that if there is a duplicate, it's going to be right next to the one we're looking at. So all the 1s are going to be together, all the 2s are going to be together, all the 3s are going to be together, if they're multiple. So it's not like we have to check this element and then check the rest of the array. We know we can just kind of check its neighbors. And so while I was reading this, I was thinking about, do I want to start at the first element? So the example here being start at 0 and check ahead, so check if the next one's a duplicate. Or do I want to start at maybe the first element and always check backwards? And I'm not sure if one is necessarily faster. I'm used to checking ahead, so let's just do that. So rather than going to nums.length, we're going to go to nums.length minus 1. We're going to skip the last element to make sure we don't extend beyond the bounds of our array. And now we're going to check. We're going to say if the current one we're checking, nums of I, equals the next one in the list, which would be nums of I plus 1, we want to basically remove oh, I just had a thought. Okay, so I originally was going to say we'll just remove, the way I was originally approaching this is we would remove all the duplicates and then count the length of the array. But removing elements from an array is actually pretty costly, or it can be. And so I just had an epiphany. Because we're not returning the array, we're just returning its length, we can probably get a little creative here. Yeah, we can actually get pretty creative here. So let's say, so rather than actually editing the array, we don't need to, we just need to know how many unique elements are in it. It's basically what it's asking for. We can do this. We can say, we can have some count uniques. Started at 0. So we're not gonna edit the array at all. We're gonna check if it matches. Don't count it. If the number is the same, don't count it. So only if it's not only if it's not the same do we count it. So count uniques. Whoops. So basically we're gonna look at for each element, look ahead 1. If the numbers match, we say, yep, that's a unique, or I'm sorry, if the numbers don't match, that's a unique number. If they do match, we don't add to this, we just go to the next one. So I think this might actually work. So let's check it on this example. We go to I, start at 0, we get 1. Does 1 equal the next one, which is also 1? Yes, so we don't do this. Go to the next one. Does 1 equal 2? No, 1 does not equal 2. We add unique. And then, okay, so we're short 1. So maybe we just start this at 1. Oh no, we should start it at if not nums.length, return 0. Yeah, we'll start it at 1. Okay. Yep. So I had this thought. I should really verbalize what I'm thinking here. I was thinking, all right, yeah, we should start it at 1 because we're not going to be counting the last one in this current loop. But then in my head, I thought, oh, well, what if there's no elements at all? We wouldn't want to return 1 because the array would be empty. We should return 0. So that put this check in. So if there's no elements, then there's no unique ones. We leave immediately. Otherwise, we start counting at 1. And now we're going to check every next element, adding 1 each time if the next element is not the same as the current one. That's how we know it's unique. And then we return count uniques. I'd like to spend more time to think about this, but I think this might work. Again, to reiterate, because we don't have to return the array without duplicates, there's no reason. That might be what they meant by this. It doesn't matter what you leave beyond the new length. Basically saying you don't have to actually remove the duplicates, you just have to know how many unique ones are in there. So even though it says remove the duplicates, really, because you're just returning the length of the unique element array, you just want to know how many unique elements there are. And this should work, I think. How do I do a custom test case? Okay, yeah, let's throw something crazy at it. Okay, so I know that there are 9 unique ones in here because I counted 1 to 9. And I basically have a varying number of duplicate or repeated integers and also frequency of repetition. So let's see if it worked. So my answer is, how do I create a test case? How do I create a test case? Okay, I don't want to do this. Well, let's just run it. Your answer. Okay, I guess, so my answer isn't correct. I don't really understand why I thought my answer was an array. I was only counting integers. The code's getting a little weird on me here. Let's just run the test one. I'm starting to think the description is not correct. Your function should return length equals 2. Does it mean it should actually return the array? I might have made an assumption that was incorrect. Let's see. Yeah. So, contrary to what I thought, it does actually want the array with uniques. Okay, that's fine. We should be able to tweak this pretty easily. So, the count is not what's important. Apparently, the nums is important. I'm starting to realize why this got so many low scores at the beginning. I was wondering, I was like, what's wrong with this? Seems like a totally fine question. But okay, so people obviously made the same assumption as I did and are a little bothered by it. Understandably so. So I'm just tweaking this a little bit. So rather than returning, it says return a number, which is clearly not what they want. But okay. It also seems to care, even though it says return a number, it also seems to care about actually removing the duplicates. So we just got to tweak this. So if they don't match, rather if they do match, we want to remove it. So num dot, I think it's splice. Splice is a function all arrays in JavaScript have that will let you remove elements, and you can actually replace them with other elements, but we're not going to be doing that. We're just going to be removing them. The way it works is you say the starting index and how many you want to remove, and then optionally you could say what elements you want to replace them with, but we're not doing that. So we're basically saying give me the current element I'm on, splice it, which means remove it, just the current element, length of 1. So if I did this, it would remove the next 2 elements. But thinking about this, I think we want to remove this one, the next one. So I'm not sure if it really matters, but it might. whether you remove the current one. I'd have to think through it more, but I think removing the next one's the way to go. Let's just see. Let's just run their test case, see here. What is this? I want to do their test case. Your input. Oh, sorry. So after we remove one, we need to put I back down. So my test case had multiple duplicates, and we were skipping over them because I was still incrementing. Basically, if we removed one, we want to recheck it for the next one. All right, so now this maybe should work. Yes. So for our input of this, I don't know why it's still running my custom one, but for my input of this, my answer seems to match. Just to go over what I just said before about why I'm decrementing I right here. So let's say I'm on this first 2, and I go, yep, the next one is the same. I remove this 2, so now I have 1, 2, 2. Right, so that's this second 2 is gone. This one right here is gone. But I went up by 1. So I would now be on this third of what, or now the second, which used to be the third 2, and I'd be checking against 3, not realizing that I actually still had a 2 before it. So basically, when we remove one, we put I back so that we can recheck it against the next one. Just to do that inline here, because I feel like it was hard with all my mouse movements. If this is our array, and we're pointing it at this 2, and we say, yep, remove this 2. We say, yep, the next one's the same, remove it. We have to then go back and recheck this first one here. Because otherwise, we increment I, we're now at the third position, and we carry on, not realizing that there is still a duplicate. So we go back 1 to just recheck it just to make sure, and that works. All right, let's submit, see how we did. I'm assuming I got it right. Okay, great. How do we do in the big scheme of things? Let's check it out. Not great. Doesn't like splice. Yeah, it doesn't like splice. Let's see what some other people did. Yeah, so splice is pretty costly. I'm not exactly sure how this guy or girl person, so this person's checking behind. Maybe that is faster. Nums? Oh, they're overwriting the elements. That's pretty clever. That's pretty clever. But what do they do about the length? Nums of... Huh. Anyway, I'll look into these a little bit more. We did... my implementation was pretty bad, apparently. I knew splice was going to be costly. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. But yeah, give this problem a shot. Play around with it. Let me know how you did. Until next time, take care. Bye.